Hey, if you're watching the broadcast, good afternoon and welcome to Monday and welcome to Glue Monday, in fact. Glue Monday, the last broadcast of Glue Monday. Where does that come from? First of all, if this is your first time on Glue Monday, it will also be your last with the current one. But Glue started from my creating Glue Wednesday some 3 years ago, where so many people said that Wednesday was hump day, meaning the middle of a 5-day work week. And I say that not everybody works Monday to Friday. So therefore, Glue is the actual middle of a traditional 7-day week. It keeps the week beginning and the week end together. So it's the glue. And that's why I created Glue Monday. Okay. Oops, let me get it. I got to get some of my stuff out of the way. Here we go. All right. But when the pandemic hit, I created Glue Friday and Monday. And now, as we've gone through this, I call it the second day of the pandemic, right? Because it's been one long day. Hey, what's up, Gail? Granny Gail. And you are just now helping me do something else I like to tell people who are watching the broadcast, or as well as those who come on live. I always believe I come on, at least I try to get 3 to 5 minutes before I start the actual message to give Facebook a chance to build the audience. The rationale, some people say you should come on when you broadcast. I say come on in advance because someone might get a note saying, Sporty's on live. And they say, oh man, that's right, Sporty's on live. Oh, I got to finish this. And then they miss that broadcast, or at least that beginning. So I say, let them get that. Oh my God, let me get this. And they close something out and then they still get the beginning of the broadcast. The truth is that with my broadcast, I'm never off topic anyway. I make everything connect to what the topic is and what it does. Hey, what's up, Haas? Good to see you and welcome aboard again. But anyway, that's the rationale. So you think about, thanks, Gail. Thank you. Yeah, you think about how you want to do it. That's what sometimes, especially right now, we have to be careful. A lot of people trying to tell us what to do, how to do. I had one of my mentees, we got less than 3 minutes for today's message. One of my mentees call and say, well, I'm working on being an entrepreneur. Can you give me some tips? And what I say is entrepreneur means I'm not going to do it the way it's been done. I'm going to find a new way. So the tips, it's just the mindset. Once you decide to be an entrepreneur, it's now time for you to start thinking not out of the box about how to get back in the box, but out of the box is in how you're going to create this new scenery around yourself and to the advantage of others who are involved with you. So I also come on early so I can do this, get the shout outs. Okay. Hey, what's up, Roger Carroll? Roger, and if you're on the broadcast, notice that Jose, it says Jose, but I call him Haas. Says, hey, and family. And Roger Carroll says, hey, and family. They've never met, but we have created a wonderful family. And this is what a chance you get to do with social media. So stop knocking social media. Right now, we are glad it's in place, aren't we? And then, Gail, that's just what I did. I'm at the pool chilling. All right, Gail. Exactly, right? So it didn't disrupt you. What's going on? Oh, some nice new shout outs. What's going on, Diane? Yeah, going to miss you next week. But family, it's good to see you in the house as well. We got less than a minute to go for today's message. And finally, Kevin, glad you got on anytime. You get on, and you're there. It's a blessing. Amen. So true, so true. But yeah, and see, and that is the truth. That's what we have got to recognize. You see, our message today is gift. But you have to recognize that you are the blessing, and everybody brings a separate blessing. And yeah, hey, Gail, hi to the family. I want to make sure everybody knows. Yeah, we're all family. Get the sister sledge. We are family. And one more time, get the 3 hearts. The 3 hearts for the Holy Trinity, Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Right? So you make everything count and then just have a good time. Y'all know that's what I do. All right. So we probably getting ready. Yeah, boom. There it is. 1 o'clock. Let's get it started. Hey, Rachel. Oh, man, I'm glad I got a shout out into you before I got this message started. But I was going to come back to you anyway. So good to see you. Yes, you former teacher, still your teacher. And just like you, my former student, you're still my student. And you're still my teacher. And I'm still your student. That's what it's about, is having that exchange. And speaking of which, there goes my guy, Barry. Because again, we have had a wonderful mentee-mentor relationship, because you, as a mentor, go back to what Kevin said about being a blessing. As a mentor, what do? You learn from your mentee. Sometimes what you learn from your mentee is that you are a mentor, because as they take the advice that you offer, sometimes you're creating the advice. Technically, you should be, as they ask for it. So therefore, when they say, "Well, Sporty, what do you think about this?" and I say, I think this, that, and and I'm coming up, I'm thinking of it as you ask. So how you take it and put it into effect makes me an effective mentor, and vice versa when the shoe is on the other foot. So let's quickly get some more shout outs in there. What's going on, Deb? Yep, good shout out to you. I love you, appreciate you. Good 3 hearts from Rachel again. And yes, and just talking about that mentor mentee thing, and the same thing with you, Gail. Granny Gail, I call her, family is all in the house. So let's get to today's message, because also what I'm doing today is I'm actually not using my other computer, and we've got the time delay. Oh, yeah, let me go back to that. Thank you, Gail. It takes a village. But you know what I like to say to people? See, a lot of times we have cliches that we use, but sometimes they're not full sentences. It takes a village, but remember, not everyone gets a vote. See, what do you believe? Because there's more in the village than people with your best interest in mind, okay, at heart. So yeah, be careful, y'all. Stretch those cliches out, stretch those sentences out, because that's what communication is about. That's how people get tricked with partial statements of what they know. Oh, that's what you mean. Yes. Oh, right. It takes a village. Yeah, everybody has got to be. No, it takes a village, and you got some people in that village that don't deserve a vote because they don't have your best interest in heart. So let's be conscious of that. And that walks us wonderfully right into today's message of gift. Because, it's gift. The thing is that you have to recognize that you are a gift. So even if the village is going to try to raise you and nurture you, you are the package. You are the gift that's going to be raised or nurtured. And it's got to come back to you. And so before I even go into what the gift is, I want to show you how we get to gift. Because here it is Monday. Look how we get to gift. We take the T in gift and recognize that we have a testimony. We just made it through the weekend, right? So we have a testimony of another day. So the gift is also TGIF, which so many people say on Friday. Thank God it's Friday. But look at what you can do with Friday. Is once you get through the GIF, you move that T and you've got the gift. So it's really not just about Friday. And that's why I want to say to you that GIFT, gift, is God is for today. God is for today. He's not for Friday. He's not for Saturday. God is for today. And that's what it's all about. And so again, look at that. Take TGIF, which is a slogan, which is a colloquialism. That's cliche. And so you're looking forward to the weekend, okay? But you got to get the testimony, because sometimes Friday ain't the best thing. It's the last day of the week, but it could be the last day of your life. So move that T and get the testimony and recognize that God is for today. Before I go, and let me see what that last comment is. Penny, smooches. Okay, girls, my dance partner, okay? Smooches to you too, all right? So here we go. So God is for today. So now let's take that TGIF again and recognize what I like to say, that, TGIF, God, thank God it's Friday. What good does Friday, what allure does Friday have for the person that took their last breath on Thursday? So I don't use TGIF. I use TGIT. Thank God it's today. Because again, if God is for today, don't we say this is the day that the Lord has made? Aren't you glad God has brought you to today? So we can wake up saying, thank you, God. We don't have to wait 7 days to be thankful for a day, for Friday. And I'm not saying that we do. But again, just think, sometimes we have to listen to ourselves literally and think about the words we use, because the words come into our spirit and impact how we act and project ourselves to the world and the people around us. So thank God it's today. And then TGIT, thank God it's tonight. Because, man, the blessing to be able to wake up, go through a whole day, and get another chance to go to sleep and do it again tomorrow. God is for today. And so thank God it's today that he's made help us come to another day. And then thank God that he's helped me get through another night. See how easy it is to thank God? See why even TGIF is a reminding you that you've got a testimony. Your testimony is every single day. What are you going to do with it? That's what we're going to talk about. So that's why I said in the promo that I'm going to wrap this up in a bow. Because see, my bow is BOW. It's believing our wealth. Believing our wealth. Let me take a look at what we got on the comments there as we wrap up TGF. I'm working with my daughter homeschooling. Okay, let's put it up there. Working with my daughter homeschooling, doing junior achievement in American history, and the son is doing art. We did our first class this Saturday. Yeah, using our gifts because it see how much more beautiful a testimony is when you put it into context. Because we could be okay with, yeah, it takes a village, but look at what's around that village. Look at how the testimony is. And see, so when we give ourselves the full sentence, we can give someone else the full testimony. And who's the most important to give that full testimony to? Ourselves. So thank you, Gail. Thank you for filling it out there and making it really even stronger. Really even. Oh, I didn't even see this point. Right on point. Yes. Your lesson is right on point. Thank you. Thank you. What you got there, Liddell? Rachel, yes, for today and every day. Yeah, TGET, right? Thank God, every day. TGET. And then think about it. TGET, what's that? T, thank, and then GET, get. You get to thank God. You get to thank God every day and every chance that you want to. So you get that chance. So let's go back to what I got prepared for you. I'm wrapping it in a bow. BOW, believing our wealth. See, you have to know that you have all that you need. You have to know that. You have all your gift. You've got all you need, including you have to know that you have the patience to believe that you'll get even more of what you want. So we understand the difference between wants and needs. Your wants move you to your needs, but you have to know that you already have all that you need so that you have the capacity and the blessing to want more. Now you need the patience because more is not necessarily going to look like what you want more to look like. What does more look like to you? See, because it looks like something different for everybody. Let's go to Gail's village. Okay. One of the things I always like to say is I've got 33 nieces and nephews, and don't be impressed. Hey, I'm just the uncle. I didn't put in the work. I didn't give birth. Okay. But my nieces and nephews need me to be a good uncle. So they need a good uncle. They need a good aunt. They need good cousins. They need good friends. See, everybody. Yeah, Gail is right. It takes a village. Because they also going to have bad uncles and aunts and friends and relatives and teachers. Yeah, everybody is in there. So guess who better be in there? You better be in there. You better believe in your wealth that you have all you need. You've got the good and the bad. And it's always going to work out. Think about how Joseph had to figure that thing out in Genesis. Right? What you meant for evil, God meant for good. So you've got already the positive, the negative and the positive impulses in your life. Do you wonder why I just switched that? Because I try to make a habit of always saying the negative and closing with the positive. I want the last words out of my mouth to be positive. Don't get to do it every time, but I do it as often as possible and when I'm conscious of it. This is also why one of my mantras in my speaking business is control your vocabulary. Don't allow your vocabulary to control you. Slow down. That's why you've got to have the patience to believe that you're going to get more than you want. Excuse me, because you see, we don't even know what to ask God for. God is so good that we don't even know what to ask him for. We ask for, well, God, can I get, I need a new car. Can you get me through this? Can you help me? See, we ask for these surface things that we suddenly see that we need to pray. Hey, everybody say a prayer for me. So-and-so is going on. These are small things. Why do you think they get answered? God's like, okay, check, not a problem. But God says, God says, I can give you even more than you asked for. And you know what? I normally don't like to say, I'm going to cover that later on, but I'm going to hold that up. So like I said, put a pin in that thought, because I got something that's going to blow that even away. See, this is the beauty of it all, is how you move toward things. And when you're consistent, when you believe that you have all you need, your message is complete. So let me see what you guys are saying over there. Oh, why am I saying, let me see what you guys are saying over there? There's a tape delay. I use a technology right now called StreamYard. And StreamYard helps me go Facebook Live, but there's a tape delay. So I don't see the comments as they come in the box. So sometimes you may be seeing them and see why someone is saying, good point, I believe you, your message is right on point. I don't know when that is. So that's why every now and then I'm going to take a break and go in and look in there and see that Gail said, "Is God is for today, amen." Because you know what amen is also, right? AMEN, a message everyone needs. A message everyone needs. And we learn through repetition. So we need to keep hearing that God is for today. We need to keep hearing that God is good. Okay? You're telling it like it is, like a TIS. Thank you, Gail. And look at TIS. Look at TIS. TIS. Turn it around. Put it in the mirror. What does it say? Sit. Sit. In other words, be patient. Just sit. And right now, isn't that what we're doing? We're sitting in the house. So don't be complaining. I like to say we're cheering one another on, but CHAIR, cheer, because we're in our chair rooting for one another. And then root, ROOT, is, we're rooting, yay, go, go, go. But also when you root something, that means that you're making it stable. And so we're sitting in our chair, stabilizing ourselves, because this is where we are right now. God is for today. This is the day that the Lord has made, and let us rejoice and be glad in it. Let us say, well, look, this is where God has brought us to today. Now, I can decide to complain about it, or I can decide to just go on and say, well, you know what? This is the way it is. This is the way I'm living right now is as if this is the way it's going to be until the day that I die. And if I die today, or and those who died yesterday, this was the way it was until the day they died. I don't know when that day is coming. Not looking for death, but appreciating life. So keep finding ways to enjoy yourself. We limit our blessings. Yes, Deb, we limit our blessings, but not as a slap on the hand. Okay, remember that we limit our blessings because, like I said a little earlier, we don't know how much we could be praying for. But God, we got the small blessing, but God's got a big blessing for us. And sometimes we limit it. And here's another spoiler alert. When I get to the end, I'm going to talk about how important. You know what? I don't need to do spoiler alerts. Let me go all the way down, because Deb, you done brought something out. See, self. I had gift as a singular. God is for today, but I was going to close it out with an S on gifts. Our gifts. We have to be our gifts. And self-esteem, love's foundation. You have to love yourself so that you don't limit your gift. And you know what? I just couldn't hold on to that one, Deb, because you're so on time with it, okay? And then I might forget to reconnect that to you. That's the other part about it, right? But yes, you have to be your gift. And you have to recognize that you are the gift. And so stop limiting your gift. Believe your wealth. You are made in the image of God. So if God is your father, what can you do without? What will you do without? Nothing. Does your earthly father or mother or parent or caretaker give you everything that you ask for? No. So why would you decide that God will do the same? But do they have access to everything that you ask for? Another no. But God does. So that's why you recognize that your father has the wealth that you need. So even though we may not pray for what we really could get, as long as we're praying and as we get the prayers answered, as we start to grow in our faith, we start to see what more we can ask for, and then he brings it to us. So I'm gonna just throw that up there one time. Don't limit your blessings. So let's take that line and don't limit your blessings. recognize your blessings, because that is even more important, is that when you get blessed, that you recognize what it is. See, you may ask God for one thing and he'll give you what you think is something else, but he actually gave you what you asked for. And this is where that patience comes in, because maybe you said, God, I need this, but he said, I'd like to get you that, but you got to take this first so that you can be ready for what you asked for. You're not really ready for that, so let me give you this. And no, I didn't ask for this. No. You need this so that when you get to that, you'll be ready for it. And what Gail says, we as people need to pass on, yes, and use your gift. This time at home has been so enlightening. It has been. It has been. And people started out, maybe people started out, because they thought the pandemic is going to be over in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, so they start out laughing and, social workers, essential, we cheering on the essential workers. That's died down. That's died down in the public. Has it died down in your house? Please don't let it. Please don't let it. So continue to see the essential workers as people who need to be here, and make sure that there are people in the mirror. So thank you, Gail. Yeah, we need to take this time home to ourselves and be, are you comfortable with yourself? See, that's why I went right to what Deb said about self, about limiting our blessing. We have to know who we are. We have to have these conversations with ourselves. Gail, you got me on that one too. Because here's what I was going to show you for self. You've got to talk to yourself. Are you having these conversations with yourself? I love me. I like me. I'm the greatest me that I've ever, that there could be. See, because the only time you'll be great and successful is when you choose to be yourself. So yes, you have to see this time at home as being enlightening. This is a time for you to have that conversation with yourself that allows you to be a part of Gail's village, so that you can have that homeschooling and take care of the kids the best way you know how, and the way they deserve to be taken care of. Beautiful, beautiful. So if I can help someone, then my living will not be in vain. We always hear that, but some don't believe it. And I know Gail does believe that. So thank you, Gail. And I know most of us do. We want to say that, but recognize what this is saying. Let's really recognize what this is saying. This is saying what our ancestors said. Let's go to Martin Luther King. I may not get there with you, but I've seen the mountaintop. Let's go to what Moses said. I won't be going with you to the promised land, but you will go. See, that's what the answers said. My living will not be in vain. I will go through this challenge, and I may not get to see the fruit of my labor, but I know that I'm doing it. And this is the people in that village that Gail is talking about. This is when you got the right people in the village who are being positive. I know that what I do today may not benefit me, but I know it's what I have to do because it's what God sent me to do. What has God sent you to do? Are you doing it? Don't beat yourself up. It takes time. It takes time to get there. And when you get there, the hard part is staying there. You may think it took you a long time to get there, but that was the easy part. Staying there is the hard part. Because once you get there, once you really understand what God is doing in your life, it now becomes somebody else's job to knock you off that square. To get, even look at Jesus was walking with the disciples were walking with Jesus. And what did Peter say? Blah, blah, blah. And then what Jesus turned and said, Satan, get you behind me. See, the disciples were with Jesus. And he said, Satan, get behind me. He said, I know that's not you talking to me right now, Peter. That's Satan. And so I'm going to move him. He's in line. Let me move him back. Send him to the back of the line. And so that's why I say, don't beat yourself up. You're going to get there. But when you get there, it's hard to stay there. The disciples were already in favor, and they still lost track. They start arguing. Can we sit at the right and left hand? Can we be the higher? Yes, I'm ready to take on that burden. Oh man, come on, go on and look at the Bible. Even if you don't fully read it, you've heard some of those things. All right, so let's see where we're going on. You are truly a blessed human being. Thank you, Gail. Thank you, Granny Gail. And see, here's the difference. Not the difference, but here's the added to it. I know how blessed I am. I know it. And some people, that's kind of arrogant. How much more of a blessing will you be to other people when you know how much of a blessing you are? Say it again, Sporty. How much more of a blessing will you be to other people when you know how much of a blessing you are? See, it's not about me. It's not arrogance. It's me knowing that when I give help, I'm giving help that's going to sustain. I'm giving help that's going to bless and gift somebody. And now I can feel good about what God has done through me because it's never about me. But there are people who misunderstand that. And that's what I mean about it's hard staying where, when you get there, it's hard staying there because someone's going to try to tear you down by saying, oh, you're just too arrogant. You know, you're just too hung up on yourself. No, I know that God sent me to do this. And so since I know that, that's the part about I got to try to stay there. I got to try to make sure I'm doing those things because I know that this is what God has sent me to do. It's the simplest formula for me. And it's one that I'm using. So thank you, Gail. Thank you. You are a blessing too. And you know it. So true, Deborah. So yeah, and see, that's where the family comes in. People, because Gail don't know Deborah. You know, I know Gail from my sister from back in the junior high school days. I know Deborah from my end of college, really more, no, in my 20s. Okay, well, it was the late 19, age 19, but from my modeling days, you know, finished high school. But that's the beauty that you have to have is the consistency so that you have friendships that span the year. That's the village. Keep your eyes on Jesus. Yes. And Kevin is one of our great political people. So keep your eyes on. Thank you, Kevin, for being that blessing. All right. But keep your eyes on Jesus. But, you know, or watch him. Watch what he's doing, but not just do that. Know what he's doing. Know what he's doing in your life because that's what's going to make a difference. And when you can keep your eyes on him and know that he's making a difference. Peter started to sink in the water when he took his eyes off Jesus. Yeah, see, when you see that, and that's what I meant about that blessing. When you pray for something, then you think you know what it looks like. It doesn't look like what you want it to look like. And so Peter started to walk. Yeah, I'm going to Jesus. Is that really him? Let me look around and see if there's any strings. Any strings attached? You know, or is that a puppet of Jesus? Is there any strings attached to me walking? And that's when you sink. That's the loss of faith. That's where the patience in prayers comes in. Thank you, Kevin. What you saying, Gail? You just confirmed so many things. I'm tearing up. Yeah, thank you for tearing up, but don't tear up. But yeah, sometimes you got to tear up that plan. Because you're on the implementation crew. Only God is on the planning committee. Tear up your plans, y'all, and recognize that God has put something new in you today. There's something new in you today. What is it? It's a gift. This confirmation, I'm on the right track. Yes, because we're always on the right track. Why? Because it's your track. You can only walk your path. If Jesus, keep your eyes on Jesus with Kevin, right? If Jesus didn't have an easy path to walk, why should you? Why? You know, and so recognize that the bumps and bruises are part of the deal. Who was it? Was it Saul? Before they changed his name to Saul, what was his name? Y'all come on with that. But isn't he who on the path he battled with the donkey? The donkey couldn't get past, and so he had to battle with the Lord, with the Spirit, right? See, so that sometimes you're on the right track. And the bad people aren't in front, aren't the ones who are blocking you. It's the good person. It's the good Lord saying, you don't need to go any further. And that's why the donkey is saying, yo, you don't see this? No, I don't see it. So that's good. God will send people in your life to confirm it every single time. Not many times, every single time, without you knowing that your choices, but you always have choices when you come to a fork in your road on the decision. Because what the fork says is, I can go this way or I can go that way. That's a choice. And here's where we mess up with a choice sometimes. We go this way, and then we only get this far, and then we get upset. Dang, I should have done the other one. No. You chose the right road. God sent you. He had you pick the right path. And you were only scheduled to get this far on that path. Check this out. Let me get that banner out of my way for a second. maybe if you had gone the other way, you were only going to get this far. You see? So you think maybe you needed to go and you should have taken that other road, but maybe you were supposed to get this far on the road you chose, but only this far had you gone that other path. Don't doubt your decision. What did you learn as you moved to this far? Because maybe you learned it so fast that you don't need to go any further on that road. See how you could just make that positive for yourself? I've gone this far in this road. Oh man, it ended. Good. I've learned my lesson. There's a pastor in Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, used to always come to Trinity United Church of Christ when I was in Chicago. His name is Rudy McKissick. And he used to say, when he closed out his sermon, he said, let me cut across the field. That's how we knew he was bringing it all in. He said, let me cut across the field. And so that's what you have to do sometimes, is when you get this far and on this road, cut across the field. Maybe, and look in between. Maybe there's something between these two roads that you didn't need to deal with. And that's why you didn't get on that road. Maybe you need to go this road so you can cut across. Haven't you had to take a detour sometimes? And if you had stayed the way you were going, you would have come into an accident. But by going the other way, you bypass the accident so that you can get where you go. And that's a word for somebody, as they say. All right. So start to see those things in your life. So let me come back to where we are. Gail, just confirm. Okay. Deb. Okay. What you say? My church member, Chadwick Bose. Oh, he was your church member. Yes. When I stand before God, I would hope not to have a single bit of talent left. I used everything you gave me. How about that? That's double meaning there. I like to have not a single bit of talent. We see that as talent. He was a gifted actor, and who knows if he was a good cook and a great linguist, the talents that we hear. But now you just heard me say the talents. What talents has God woven into you? Remember the story about the guy who gave each of the slaves, he gave him 5 talents, he gave him 3, he gave him 1. The talents, what are the gifts? We're on topic, aren't we? What are the gifts? What are the talents that God has woven into your spirit, and how are you using them? And so remember when the guy came back and one of the guys said, well, you gave me 10 talents and I invested them and I got more. And the other one said, I invested the 3. Another one said, I didn't, right. See, so I want to have given away, spent up all of my talents, because as I do, God has more for me because I did well with what he gave me. And so got back to Gail. Awesome post, Deborah. Yeah, isn't it though? Awesome. Amen. And then you see there we got Saul. Thank you. Saul to Paul. I knew it. Sometimes though you have to do it. You know how at the end of a letter you say, oh, P.S. There's Paul and Saul. P.S. Paul became Saul. So that's like postscript. That's it. When we add something to the letter, to the comment, P.S. Paul became Saul. See, sometimes again, it's just like with gift and TGIF. Right? All we have to do is move the letter sometimes, and the blessing is waiting for us. God, good trouble as Senator. Yeah, you got to get in some good trouble. Right? Sometimes your path is blocked by good trouble, but it's also glowing with good trouble because it's saying, come this way. Come this way. You say, yeah, but that looks hard. Yes, it is hard. That's why you're on this path, because the people behind you couldn't have made this without you. See, goes back to what Deborah was saying. We have to, don't limit our blessing. See who you are. And what did Kevin say? Keep your eye on Jesus, because he said, I got you. You're my child. And I've decided that you can get here. When we're teaching a kid to walk, don't we say that? Come on, you can do it. We just hold our hands out and we wait. We wait. And as we wait, what do? We poise ourselves to jump in case they fall, which is the same thing Jesus did when Paul tried to walk the water. Oh, okay. And then you had it too, Roger Cartwright. Saul to Paul. Bam! See, when 2 people get the right answer or more, that's a new scripture in the Bible. I just made it up. When 2 gathered more in my name, okay? But when 2 get it right, we on a rock and roll. So yes, and yes is the answer. We don't hear enough. We don't hear it enough because we don't know how yes sounds. See, we can get so used to being denied that we don't hear the yes, because sometimes the yes is, I don't want you to go any further. That's God saying yes. Yes, you've come to where I wanted you to go on this road. So yes, it's time for you to stop on this road and get another one. That's not a bad thing. There's one of the things that we're practicing in our psyche called negativity bias, where we think that something is bad. When we run into a dire situation, we automatically go into the negative because we're used to responding negatively. But we've got to try to get to where we respond positively. We've got to get to where we see, this is good. I'm at the end of this road. Good. I get to pick a new road now. Give me that one. Yeah, give me roads and testimonies for 300. See, that's what we have to do. Yes is the answer that we've got to start hearing. Because if we don't doubt ourselves, Deb, limit our blessing. If we don't doubt that we are blessed to be able to walk and share, now when we get to a spot, we recognize that, this was it. Good, yes. Time for me to make the next move. Time for me to move a letter across. Okay, boom. Hi, what's up, Ferg? And thank you for that announcement about John Thompson, wonderful coach. That's another person that just died. And those of you who, the Georgetown Hoyas, Coach John Thompson touched a lot of lives, okay? And that goes back to Gail, if my living could be, see how it all comes together, y'all? That's the beauty of it all. So that's why I enjoy doing what I do. So let's get back to bowing, okay? A bow, rather. Tie it in a bow. Know that you have all you need, including the patience to believe that you'll get more than you want, which means what? One of my acronyms that most of you know, WIN. Get your personal win. What do you need to be successful? And see, that's the same thing as that self-talk that I fast forwarded to. I love me. I like me. I am the greatest I can be. What's your personal win? What makes you who you are? See, I know what makes Sporty who he is and who I am. Oh, I can talk about me in the third person. And you want to know something? When I say I will only be successful when I choose to be myself, see, I'll die for me. I will not die for you. Gail said that my living would not be in vain if it helps someone else. She didn't say her dying. You have to live for you so that you can live for others. But I won't die for somebody else. I'll die for me. In other words, I want to make sure that what I believe is who I am. And it really takes us to our next word for bow. But before I go there, let me just close out one more thing I wanted to write about WIN, and that is long-term success is what you need over momentary success. Long-term success over momentary success. A prayer I have on my wall is the prayer that Solomon gave to God. When God said, what do you want? He said, give me wisdom and knowledge to rule them properly. For who is able to govern this great nation of yours? That's 2 Chronicles 1 and 10. See, you have to know your personal win. What do you need? And I just need wisdom. And if I know I'm making a difference, I have to say, what did I do to make a difference? I need to duplicate that. I don't need to back down. I need to duplicate that. I need to trump it up. I need to take it to another level. And so that's really what it's about. And that's where the next bow comes in, and that is being our word. See, you have to be you. Once I decide I'm the greatest Sporty that I can be, I now have to be me. And now I have to look at my reputation. Your reputation is important. The interview starts when you walk out the door, not when you get to the place where you're looking for employment or a connection. You are constantly being interviewed by everybody in your life for some type of a relationship, whether it's social, family, or business. You're always being interviewed. So, and you heard people say, well, your reputation precedes you. Your reputation is important. And so that's how you have to be your word. I had a great new friend of mine, Marquessa Petway, in the mastermind group that we're in. She said about me last week, she said, one thing that you got to say about Sporty is that he's consistent. And what a blessing that was, compliment to me, because she's like one of my new mentor type people. She's one of my speaking mentors. And so, so now it goes back to what Gail said, it takes a village. And if I can live and, see, she didn't even know how much that meant to me. But I let her know, and I will let her know. That's why I also shout out her name. See, she needs to know that was important, a great statement. She said, one thing you can say about Sporty is he is consistent. And that means my word is important to me. Which is why last week I talked a little bit about lying. I can't deal with lying. I told lies. I told lies when I was younger. And I told them repeatedly. I wasn't a pathological liar, but come on, we do it. But as an adult, I grew up with my father, Ricky, always said, you lie to those you fear, and you should fear no man. And so that is one of the beliefs. That is one of the words that he gave me, that I believe that is who I am. So your reputation is important, but most important is the inner conversation that you're having. And that was what I fast forwarded based on what Deb had said. Your inner conversation is your self-esteem. That's the S in gifts. And that inner conversation has to be, I love me. I like me. I am the greatest me. Why do I have it in that order? See, most people will say that they love themselves. The cherry on the cake, I believe, is liking yourself. Because you've got to like yourself. Have you ever said to yourself, well, I don't like the way I look in this outfit. I don't like how I acted when I did that. We told our spirits that we don't like us, but we very rarely say we don't love ourselves. So liking yourself is the cherry on the cake, and it's so important. Like yourself. Because once you like yourself, now you have love to give. If you don't like you, you don't really have love to give, because you're giving a broken product. So you're using love to mask the break. Okay? And so that's not what you need. Love, like yourself so that you can love yourself and love others. And that's how you get to be the greatest. Be the greatest you. I always say, I don't have to be right. I have to be sporty. Be the greatest you that you can be. And that is going to be the blessing that we need for everybody to have. So, it's so important as we do that, as we start to close this message out. Let me just see if y'all got any more comments before I start to close this out. And because remember, this is on a tape delay. So put in your closing comments, and I thank you for the hearts and the likes, those who are with me live. But let me say this, because what I want to put in the feed right now is the website, powerthepolls.org. And I get this from the Trevor Noah show. That's where I watch most of my news, where we got a closing comment before I go on. Gail, self-actualization is that higher level understanding you reach that will allow you to use your gifts, not just to have your gifts, but to use them. And that's what self-actualization is. I know who I am. Now I will use my gifts, and now I know how to use them. Okay, Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so get the research, y'all. Find different things out that work for you. But you have to have that self-actualization. I have to know who I am and accept me. And there are times where you have to recognize that you are a knucklehead. You've been a jerk. I've been a jerk. Now I got to get out of it. I can say, okay, I've been a jerk, and here's because I didn't understand this, and so here's what I'm going to do now. We've all been there. Keep forgiving yourself. That becomes one of the biggest keys. But the reason I want to close with, semi-close with this is that I heard on Trevor Noah's show, and it makes sense. Because of the pandemic, since a lot of times the people who work the polls are older or over 60. And so they are more susceptible right now to our pandemic. So we're losing some poll workers because of that. Well, the fewer poll workers we have, the fewer polling places that we can have open. So we need you younger people to get out there and work the polls. And you get paid for it. So especially right now, we need some extra money to line our pockets. Get that. But let me also say that I close with this, and I remind people to check that out. Go to powerofthepolls.org. But I want to say something. Remember when we talked about Paul to Saul, PS? There's also PC, politically correct. And I want to be honest with you here. A lot of people are saying, exercise your right to vote. Get out and vote. You know what I want to say? Get out and vote Democrat. I'm not going to be politically correct. I want to vote Democrat. That's why I have this whole Hillary Clinton sign up, Stronger Together, because I think that still makes a difference today. And I think that right now, the platform that Joe Biden and the Democrats have will make us stronger and together. I don't see that in Trump's platform. And I didn't see that at the RNC. So I don't mind stating that that's how I will be voting. And so when I say get out and vote, I want to just go on and add, just like I said to Gail, taking it out of context, making the sentence even a little longer, because I want to encourage people who are Democrats to vote. I'm not worried about whether or not I can, convert somebody else to vote the other way. That's not the problem. That's not what I'm here for. We have to be here to encourage like-minded people. So who you vote with is who you roll with. And that's what I want to do, is to say that if you're somebody that is saying, well, hey, but Democrats, Republicans, they're all the same. I lose my business when this and that happen. Well, you know what? The key is you've got to put people in place so that the policies can work the best they can. If you're an entrepreneur, you have to know how to flourish in any type of environment. So in the long run, yes, it doesn't totally matter to me who wins, but I'll know who I'm trying to get to win. Because I think that when I get that person to win, I've got a better chance of going even further. Remember the blessings we talked about, limiting the blessings? Maybe I can get a little further. Maybe I can't, but I can't find out if I don't make the step and the move. So please vote. And again, as far as I'm concerned, please vote Democrat. But also work the polls. Regardless of what you do, work the polls. And I'll be working the polls here in Charlotte. And they've already asked us, months ago, they said, we like your commitment, but we also want you to know that if you're going to work the polls, we want you to also commit to voting early, because you won't have time to vote on that day. So there's a lot going on, y'all. Let's make it all work for ourselves. You can always find out more information about me at sportyking.com. Again, this will be my last Glue Monday broadcast. I will still be broadcasting on Monday, but what I'm going to do on Monday is what I call the Monday moments. And so there'll be 2 minutes or less of me giving an inspirational message, no shout outs, just a quick jumping on and jumping off to get the week going. And I haven't totally decided what I'm going to do with Fridays. But guess what? It's like what Gail said at the beginning. I got choices. I got options. And so do you. So use your choices, use your options. And whenever you can, and as I'm updating my website, please refer people if they need a speaker who's going to bring this type of a message to them. Because right now, especially with people at home, they need to be comfortable talking to the screen. Look how many of you had this little conversation we had going on in the chat. That means that you're comfortable with that. And so I'm comfortable with it as well. Okay. So that's what we want to do is recognize, here's our new environment. How are we going to make it work for us? I can help you find that out. Thank you. God bless you and have a marvelous week. And I appreciate you. All right. Over and out. Ciao. I'm going to pause just a second to see if there's a comment in there that the tape delay didn't catch. And there being none, I'll move on. Over and out, y'all. Be good. Ciao. And thank you, whoever's watching the broadcast. Share it.